Alrighty, welcome on back, guys. It's Critical Fish back with another video, and today I'm talking about the PS5 physical game collection that I've curated and updated in 2025. So there's a few games that I've gotten over the course of the past year or so, which is about a year ago since I did the last version of this video. Really excited to showcase what I still have, what I've obtained over time, and also showcase what I've sold, because a big critical part of this channel for me are my values, and I really like a minimalistic collection and lifestyle, so I really try to curate and keep the best of the best. So you're about to witness my full PS5 physical collection. And if you like what you see, please hit the like and subscribe button today. It really helps me out, helps me understand what kind of videos you guys like watching from me. I plan to keep doing live streams for new video games. I plan to do collection showcases for PlayStation and Nintendo. And I just want to keep discussing what's the latest and greatest in gaming news. So thanks for your support and enjoy the video. All right, and 1 year later, I've got the same display rack for my PS5 games. As you can see, here's a sneak peek of the titles that I've got in the collection. Here they are, sprawled out on the floor in full display. I love the PS5 banner, and I love all the different artwork for the games that I've got. Let's start off with the first one. We've got Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade for the PS5. I've talked about this game countless times. Final Fantasy VII is my favorite action RPG. It's my favorite game in general. I love the storyline and the characters. And as you can see, the display case has quite a bit of detail. Big fan of the reversible artwork on the back too, and overall it just looks very clean. Here we've got the direct sequel to Remake, which is Rebirth. Still an action RPG, but the world opens up a lot. You can go to a lot of different areas, and it continues the storyline. You have a lot more player freedom in this game. The actual case still contains a lot of detail, and it even has a second disc to download the entire game. It's a big game, I'm not gonna lie. So awesome follow-up, and I can't wait for part 3. Then we've got God of War Ragnarok. This was an awesome follow-up to the 2018 game. It introduced like wolf sledding, you could fight Thor, there were some new areas to check out with new characters, even new weapons to use. If you were annoyed by the lack of enemy variety in the previous game, there's definitely a step up in this one. Lots of new bosses, lots of new enemies to fight. Here we've got a new addition to the collection in 2025. We've got the native PS5 version of Resident Evil 2. This is a survival horror game. It's a remake of the original game from the 90s. I love this game. I played it on the PS4. As you can see, I haven't even cracked open the case just because I already have the PS4 version, but I definitely recommend this one. And then we've got the more recently released Resident Evil 4 remake. This game is more combat oriented, more exploration focused, and I love it in different ways. I still prefer Resident Evil 2, but this game is awesome in terms of the combat and the types of areas that you can visit. This is a arguably better remake than Resident Evil 2. And still towards the top of the list is Resident Evil Village, which is a spiritual successor to 4 in some ways. I really love this one. It is first person instead of third person compared to most of the other games. This one also added a VR2 update, so you can play the full game in VR. I played parts of it in VR, and it was amazing and wicked scary. So love this one. And then we've got Demon Souls for the PS5. This was a launch title, and it's still exclusive to the system for some reason. This is a great game. It's a remake of the PS3 version. So it's definitely a little bit clunky in terms of the gameplay. I wouldn't recommend this for a first-time Souls player. But yeah, the case design looks great. I love the artwork on it, and still a great game. And then we've got Sackboy: A Big Adventure. This is kind of a spin-off title from Little Big Planet. I love the colorful and crafted design of the game and the cover art. I had a great time playing this during, the launch era of the PS5, and definitely have a lot of memories playing co-op with friends. So if you're looking for kind of family fun couch co-op, this plays very similar to like a 3D Mario game. And then we've got Returnal. This is a roguelike game. This was exclusive to the PS5 for a little bit. It eventually came to PC, but you can't have the game case if you play on PC. So if you take a look here, the artwork looks great. The actual case is flooded with the astronaut masks representing the amount of times you will die in this game. And if you're looking for a challenge and a bullet hell, this is definitely it. All right, and then we've got Bloodborne 2 here. This is an awesome, unexpected release. This came out in late 2023, and it's pretty much available everywhere, but I decided to play it on the PS5. This is my main system of choice, if you can't tell. And whether it's the combat, the slickness of the UI design and the characters, it's an awesome Souls-like. And here's Elden Ring. Everybody knows what Elden Ring is. Huge open world, fantasy, exploration, a lot of surprises, color, weapons, you pretty much name it. There's a lot of iconic stuff in this game. Is it my personal favorite Souls game? Definitely not. I prefer the more linear adventures, but this is an awesome one. Metal Gear Solid Volume 1 is a relatively new addition to the collection. I played through all 3 games for the first time last year, and I really enjoyed my experience with each of the games. I think 1 is my favorite, and I'm definitely glad that they ported these over in a modern way. And honestly, this makes me question if I should even play Metal Gear Solid Delta, which is releasing later this year. I'm just such a fan of the originals, and I'm really glad I got it. Next up is Jedi Survivor, which takes place in Star Wars. And I feel like this game improved on Fallen Order in almost every single way. You could fight more enemies, go to more areas. The exploration was a lot more interesting with like grapple mechanics, gliding mechanics, and better side quests. So I definitely recommend this one to any Star Wars fan out there, even if you haven't played the first one. Here we've got a new addition to the collection, which is Silent Hill 2 Remake. This is a almost one-to-one remake of the original game. It pays a lot of homage to the original, but it does its own. It stands on its own. Brand new music, brand new area design. The audio design is heavy and horrifying. I wasn't expecting this to be as good as something like Resident Evil remakes, but it almost outdoes them in some ways, especially with the storytelling. I would heavily recommend this if you're into action and horror. Coming off the hype of the Season 2 launch, I've got The Last of Us Part 1 PS5 case. I've played, probably a third of this game. I already played the original, so this feels extremely familiar to me. But I love it, On the PS5, it looks great. I think the case and the simplicity of the PS5 design looks awesome. So I'm definitely glad to have this in the collection. And who knows, maybe I'll pick up the Part 2 case pretty soon. And then we've got Animal Well. This is an extremely niche indie Metroidvania type of game. So it's 2D side scroller, but there's a lot of exploration and usage of tools to get to new areas and fight some bosses. It was made by one person. It was one of my favorite games that I played in 2024, and this is actually a new addition to the collection because they released a limited time version of the case. So I'm very glad I got to pick this one up, and it's got some great artwork, as you can see. Some nice peacocks behind the disc, so definitely recommend Animal Well if you like Metroid. Another relatively new pickup is Astrobot. This is a level-based 3D platformer that pays homage to a lot of different PlayStation IPs, whether it's God of War or Uncharted or, even Jak and Daxter. Stuff like that is all represented in this game through the power-up system, through the music, and the different level design. It's pretty similar to something like a 3D Mario game. As you can see, the case sports a lot of detail within and just goes to show how much stuff is packed into this little adventure. This is the newest pickup in the collection. We've got Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. This just got ported to the PS5, and it's even sporting a physical case and disc. I'm super happy about that. I'm excited for more Xbox games to come over to PS5. And I can't say my full thoughts on this game yet, and that's because I'm currently playing through it. Let me take it out of the PS5, and there we go. We've got the Great Circle in hand. This is the Great Circle. They're actually referring to the PS5 disc. And then we've got Final Fantasy 16. Personally, this is kind of a letdown. I was really excited for this one. I love the art design and the music, but everything else within, whether it's the world exploration or the side quests or even the main story, is kind of a letdown for me. I'm not gonna lie. At least I get to look at the case. It's got a beautiful disc. It's even got reversible cover art, which is a great detail. Not many games do that. Would I recommend this over Final Fantasy VII? Definitely not, but this is still a cool game, and I can still respect it. Then we've got Dead Space for the PS5. This came out quite a long time ago now. Still lives up. It's a great Unreal Engine remake of the original game. Pretty faithful, changes some things here and there. I won't say it's super memorable, but it is a very scary experience. I'll give it that. I'll go ahead and recommend this one if you're a fan of the combat from Resident Evil 4. Here we've got a new pickup from me. This is the retail copy of Death's Door on the PS5. And I actually think this looks better than the special edition that I previously owned. I'm a fan of the clean cover art and design on this one. And I think the inside is a little cleaner as well. So I'm glad to have picked this up at a pretty cheap price. And yeah, the game itself feels like you're playing an old school top-down Zelda game. It's got those same mechanics and tools and music, so I'm definitely glad I still own this game in a new way. This is still an indie game, so I'm not sure if I'd recommend it to a mainstream audience, but if you like Zelda, definitely do yourself a favor, pick that up. Cyberpunk 2077, we got the Ultimate Edition for PS5. I think the cover art looks awesome for this game. I will say I've had this for quite some time. I have redeemed the DLC. I have started a playthrough for it, but I just haven't fully clicked with everything within it. The systems are pretty deep and there's a lot of character and story that you got to figure out, so I'll play it at some point. I can definitely appreciate its aesthetics and music, and even this PS5 case. It's repping a lot of extra stuff inside. The disc looks great. So I'll definitely get around to playing this at some point again. And the last game on display is the PS5 version of Crisis Core, which is a prequel to Final Fantasy VII. This dives into some deeper story. If you're into the main game, it focuses on a character named Zack. And this version of the game is kind of a slight remake, remaster of the PSP version. So I'm glad I at least got to play it on a modern system. And that is all the games I have on display for the PS5. Now we can check out some of these sealed games that I've got in my collection in storage. I've got quite a few in here, and I only keep copies of my favorite games. I just love and appreciate the design of physical game cases. If it's a game that I've had a great experience with, then I'm definitely going to buy another copy or two of it at a cheap price. I don't mind doing that ever. Just got to dig through some extra PlayStation gear here. And here we go. We've got a secret collection of sealed PS5 games, as well as some steelbooks. I did a previous video on that you can check out. But for now, we're just taking a look at the sealed games I've got. Final Fantasy, Resident Evil, God of War, Uncharted. Those are some of the heavy hitters in here. Oh, you can't forget Concord. That is one of my favorites. I'm just showing a quick side-by-side comparison of Final Fantasy VII's Japanese variant versus the American cover art. I love the aesthetic of the Japanese version, so I had to pick that up. All right, so for the last part of this video, I'm covering everything that I've recently sold. Horizon Forbidden West, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Gran Turismo 7, Death's Door Special Edition. We've even got Skywalker Saga Lego game, Battlefield 2042, The Pathless, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Sonic Superstars. I'm surprised by some of these picks, but ultimately, I'm glad that I cleaned up parts of my collection. Once again, thanks for staying tuned to the end of the video. If you want to see more content from me regarding PlayStation and Nintendo, I'm going to be doing a lot more on this channel, so thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned to Critical Fish. Have a good one.